for sure. Funny how you had the best.
So welcome back. Here we are starting with the rally engine. I say rally, probably tarmac rally, not rallies in synchro rally. So do a bit of a montage. What we're going to do is pull all the bits off this we don't need at the moment, so we can get the inlet manifold off, get the snail off, get the manifold off, you know, cam belt covers off, aux shaft can come out, something needs to come off, they need to come off, get it down to our bare block again, then we're going to spin it round, get the sump off, and then crank seals off, and then we're at our bare block. Then we can come back and focus on and just regroup to what we're actually doing. So let's crack on with that. So we've got the engine to this point. The sump was a big congealed mess, but obviously the engine has sat for a while, so everything that's in the engine has gone down, which is fine. Oil pump we're not using anyway because it's the wrong type for the car, and obviously we've got to change a few other bits and bobs to suit our 16 valve. Obviously this is an 8 valve block, as I've said, so don't look too bad now. It looks pretty good. It moves around freely, which is what we want. But obviously you notice these two pulleys, 1 and 2, they are different. So we need to undo this and get this pulley off, because we need to get this off, and same the other end. So there's a trick to getting these off: a massive bar and a wooden hammer, and I'll show you. Right, so we've got the hammer in there. If anything goes wrong, the hammer is going to get damaged. None of this is. Metal is stronger than nylon, tried and tested method. So we want that in there, and then we need, if you've ever torqued one of these up before, you know how tight they are to undo. So we turn that over, we need to lock the stand and then give it some welly. Just like that. Good job, simple as that. That's undone, that can come off. You know, an oily mark on there, perfect. No, not all the way outside. So there you go, that's the crank pulley, and that's the same fitment and locking key on the crank as it is a 16 valve. Obviously that's thinner on the 8 valve. But this one's helpfully already undone because obviously I just plopped it in there. When we're doing other things.
Yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes. I know what I did was wrong. Everybody makes mistakes. Give it your best. Give it your best.
So same detail on the back. We've got to get the rear crank seal off. Obviously slightly more awkward with the bracket here, but we work around it.
Yeah.
The engine to where we need it before we can start playing with it. Now this is a known good engine. Obviously it has been sat for a while, so things like this, you know, we'll just spin it around with a gun, get a bit of Scotch-Brite oil on there, clean all these up. Same detail with the front nose. Like I say, it's just a pulley gun on this, there's no big problems. And then once we finish what we're doing, we'll flush all this out with some WD-40 and scrub it clean. So we've got the block all pulled apart. We know it was a good engine, let's say. I could strip this down, do rings, you know, the whole shebang, but this is a budget car. I'm trusting in VW's engines that I know from previous experience pulling apart, even including that one, and no, two other engines in the last couple of years. They don't wear badly. Now, quick test you can do is get some oil on the bores. This is just power steering oil. Now, this has been on there for about half hour, 40 minutes now, and it's still pretty much where I put it. Now, if you put oil in there, yeah, and it literally just disappears within like 5-10 minutes, it tells you either the piston rings are seized and not actually against the bore, or they are just worn and not holding compression. Again, you could put a bit of paper over the top, get a mate to spin the hand. You know, if it's flat enough on there and it breaks the paper, that shows you've got something good in there. Like I say, we're doing this on a budget, so you know, I'll leave that for another probably hour or so maybe, because I'm going to have some food, and then we'll come back and see if that's still there. If that's all still on there, then happy days. It means it hasn't seeped through quick enough to get past the rings and the oil scraper ring to actually drain out. And also you can look under the bottom there. If we're not dropping out loads of oil, then you know we are looking at the piston rings are going to be good. The 2 litre, that's what you want. Again, another conditioner engine, just looking at the condition of the core plugs. Now these are literally surface, they're still silver coloured in there. As you get one of these, they're all rusty, then you know that can show the condition side of the block's actually getting through the metal.
Yes, that's it.
So we've left these now, it's probably been about an hour and 15. And again, you know, the oil's still in there. We've got some little, you know, staining on there where it has been sat in the garage, but you know, compression wise, piston ring wise, you know, I'm taking that as a damn good sign. We're happy to continue with doing our mod to the pistons and go from there. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong when it's in the car, but you know, I have trust in what we're doing, and you're doing the basic old school tests even to make sure we know what's going on. Oil staying in there, it's not seeping past, so we are good to carry on and then clean up all this mess with an apprentice. So there we are, we have got the engine pulled apart to where we want it, so we can start doing the work on the pistons like previous videos. Again, that oil's still been sat in there for, you know, a long amount of time. It's not dripping down, so you know, I'm happy to run with that. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. We make it even better. But that is ready for the next video where I will clean that up, and then I will show you what we're doing with the pistons to get the piston squish and the band how we want it for the 16 valve head. Again, we've got a turbo down there, T3 turbo from R&RS Turbo with the Spa cast exhaust manifold, just so we can get it an underslung turbo, so we can fit in the bay and be sort of Turbo Technics based, but a lot more additions to it on how it's running with K-jet. You know, single set of 4 injectors, you know, more boost control and etc, etc. So thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for sticking by me, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers for watching. Bye.